Hello, investors. Welcome. Another edition of 18 Minutes with 180 Markets. Friends, we certainly know ESG, a structural, positive thematic that's going on. And that's why I'm so excited today, because we have a company with us that's not just attacking one element of it, but it has two projects, a phosphate project that's going to help feed the world, as well as a copper project that is in the EV battery revolution space. And here to talk all about both of his projects, his company, way over on the other side of the world from where we are today in Melbourne, all the way to Brazil, Fernando Tallarico, Managing Director of Aguia Resources. And with that introduction, Fernando, welcome to 18 Minutes with 180 Markets.
Thank you, Greg. A pleasure to be here.
Hey, Fernando, everybody's got a story. Can you just tell us in a couple of minutes about yourself?
Listen, I graduated as a geology a lot of time ago, and I started my career in the major space. So I started with being a junior geologist at Vale, then I moved on to Noranda, Falcon Bridge, BHP, and that was essentially half of my career. Always on minerals exploration, and then I moved on to the junior sector and did a lot of that. And in the past 10 years, I have been with Aguia from the very beginning, the very early days of the company, even the logo, the name, and all that. I took part, and the concept of investing in the raw materials for the fertilizer industry. So I started as the technical director, and more recently, 2 years ago, I became the CEO of the company.
Yeah, that's great. And also, I'm just curious because BHP has been such an active player in the fertilizer space. Was that one of the ways that that piqued your interest in Aguia and these particular projects?
Exactly. Well, when I was BHP geologist, I was doing other type of exploration. I was exploring for kimberlites and diamonds, but always participating of that group, I could learn how important that is, especially those operations up in the Saskatoon Basin on potash.
Yeah, excellent. And and maybe that's a great place to segue right now into your Strata, project. Can you just explain and also just give people a little bit of context here in Australia about your project and that particular location? And that would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So yes, so we had the concept of exploration developed, and really we started from scratch. We came into this part of the country, this part of the world, with no previous record of phosphate deposits or anything like that, and we were lucky enough to materialize a genuine greenfield discovery. Not only this, Três Estradas is a resource that's obviously all drug compliant, that we went through all the stages of engineering and resource auditing, etc. But we also have a number of satellite tigers that, because we were the first to develop this concept in the area, we were able to pick it up. So we have another phosphate targets and small little resource that we can grow over time. So really, resource is not the problem, all belonging to Aguia.
Right, and then so on the project, can you just tell us a little bit about the stage of it, where it's at? It's at a resource right now, and then what would maybe be the next steps over the 12 to 24 months?
Mm-hmm. So what we have done is we outlined the resource, and we also went through all the engineering to the point that we issued early this year a BFS on the project. So this BFS is essentially describing the economics of a very simple project. It's at surface. It's essentially free dig, open pit. And then you process this without water, essentially just this comminution. We're going to go crush, grind, dry, and sell. The concept is to deliver the natural phosphate to the Rio Grande market. The Rio Grande market, by the way, is This is the second most productive state in terms of ag yields year after year. This late harvest rear run put out 34 million tons of grain. Not talking all the rest. This is all 90% of the wine, for example, that's done in Brazil is done in this state, and other fruits, etc. But only on grains. So it demands a lot of fertilizer, and there's zero production. Everything comes elsewhere from Northern Africa, mostly a little bit from Peru, imported with all the transportation costs, the port costs, etc., taxes, etc. So it's a great place to be, and it's a great place to be providing raw materials to the ag industry.
Yeah, and also, since you do have a BFS done, can you just go through just some general highlighted metrics of, what's the size, what would be the end value of the project?
Mm-hmm. Yes, so the NPV is in the ballpark of the high 80s, high 70s. Sorry, we're talking a capital cost of less than 10 million. If we include the land purchase, we get to a bit over that, 12 and a half. The operational cost of our product is in the ballpark of $12 to $13. The sales price then is we're projecting $73 per ton. That's tied to the commercial, to the existing products in the market, the chemically treated ones. So it gives us essentially a huge margin of $60 per produced ton. That's reflected in the IRR. That's in excess of 70%. It's the life of mine for this phase of the project is 18 years.
Yeah.
So those are the key numbers.
Right, and even with the LOM of 18 years, obviously 18 years is a long time where you certainly have more exploration work. As you outlined earlier, you have some targets around there. But also what I think is very interesting, Fernando, about your project, can you just talk about the technology around it? Because you have very high yields and a little bit of a different technologically approach than others.
Yeah, well, essentially, we decided to keep the project as simple as we could, and above that, the real driver was to make it as sustainable and friendly to the environment that we could. So we wanted very strongly to avoid the tailings dam. Obviously, who's following the mining market globally would have heard of those terrible accidents that we had here with those iron ore dams up in northern Brazil. It has nothing to do with Agui, obviously, belonging to other companies, but it created really a turning point in the market here in Brazil. It's before and after that. All the companies after that are really striving to do something different, and we were lucky enough to be able to do that. So we got rid of the processing in wet, so we didn't need the water dam, and then we didn't need the tailings dam because there were no tailings. 100% of the run of mine is product at the end. And then, following this spirit, we then decided to design a plant that would be as friendly as possible. So right now we're initiating the process of certification with the North American entity EDGE, and it's essentially we call it the 000. We're gonna apply for zero water balance, zero energy balance, and zero carbon emission. The key for that is essentially a self-sustained solar panel system that we're going to build, which is, if you look at these things, it's almost unthought to see a mining project with these credentials. It's very innovative, and we're very proud of being part of it.
Yeah, it's incredible that we can have a 000 project and also showing an IRR off the charts. So as investors, we can not only do good, but we can also make a darn good profit in the same time, which is fantastic. Maybe a sharp turn now to your copper project. Can you just discuss that with us a little bit?
Okay, so the copper is following the phosphate in the sense that they're all sitting in the same area. So the reason I started thinking about copper in the first place was that there were historical mines, there were a lot of activity in the area, and we're working in this part of the world for 10 years already. And as soon as we started seeing some opportunities with no pressure, because we were putting the phosphate ahead, we started picking up little pieces of tenements here and there, to the point that now we have in excess of 100,000 hectares, and the most several excellent targets, but the best and most advanced one so far is one we call Andrade. We have released in March this year the first economic assessment of this project in the scoping study. So essentially, we have outlined a maiden resource, which is 80% indicated and 20% inferred. This is very shallow, near surface, amenable to open pit mining, and the beauty of it, it's different from the regular, say, the Chilean or Andine copper deposits, where the copper species is chalcopyrite. This mineral essentially it forces you to go into a flotation project that just has a high entry ticket, high operational cost, and because Andrade has a different mineral, it's chalcocite, it's amenable to heap leach. So then we can go with very cheap option of crush grind, heap leach, extract the copper and precipitate it already in its final format of the copper cathode. We're talking a 20 million ballpark capital cost, and the NPV is in the ballpark of 120. So with a rate of return of in excess of 40%, which is very high for mining projects in general, too. Essentially almost a $6,000 margin per ton of produced copper. So it's small, clean, and cheap. So for a company as the size of Aguia, it's a very good project to pursue. What we're doing now is trying to to adjust a couple of factors of this project within something more friendly to the environment. The part we're really concentrated on is avoid acid leaching. So not leaching, but the acid. So
right.
There has been a lot of development in what we call bioleaching. So you do this via bacteria, and but it's much more friendly to the environment. It's naturally occurring bacteria. So we started. I signed this week a contract with this Brazilian biotech firm, where we're going to start doing testing our ore and see how it performs in that. So that would be a big win for the project. And then obviously we're trying to engage a Swiss company to do pre-concentration. And obviously I want to have as less material possible when I get to the leaching part of it, again, to have a smaller footprint, and
Right.
And then the plant construction and all that, we want to do it similar 000 as we did in the phosphate.
That would be great. Hey, Fernando, in your mind for Aguia, what would be the definition of success over the next 12 months to you? Like, what are the major milestones that you'd like to see for us?
Well, we would like to start the construction of the mine. Okay, we have the permitting process at the stage of the LP. We still have to wait for the LI, and then if we could finish this new engineering of the copper and be able to put out a PA, a preliminary economic assessment, which would be a higher level of economics, of confidence in the economics,
Sure.
compared to the scoping that we have already issued. So if next year we're able to start construction and be able to release a PA on the copper with these new credentials. And by the way, I'm sure everybody knows, but there's another important factor for the copper, for us as company governance, is the fact that copper goes into green energy, goes into wind turbines, goes into electrical vehicles, go into solar panels. So it's something that we like and that we're proud to do.
Yeah, excellent. And then also, turning back to the phosphate, to the Strata, what are the key milestones for Strata over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so we obviously would have to have the LI granted, and that as everybody knows, and we have released this already to the market, subject to a pending action with the public prosecutor here. So that's about it that I would say on that, because we have released all the information related to this extensively already. But the key milestone is us getting the company getting the LI. LI is the green light to start construction, and we start breaking the ground.
Excellent, excellent. Fernando, we have to keep these interviews short, unfortunately. Do you have any closing words for the audience?
No, just stick with us. We're going to continue more and doing more and better things as we move further. Thank you for your time.
Great. Be well and stay in touch.
Thank you.